Sciences, the Netherlands Embassy in Accra, Father Manufacturing College, and Bunsu College. So, before we start every program, we need to start with God. So, I would like to invite Mr. Nantman to give us the opening prayer.
So, as we pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you this morning for life, Father, for this moment. Lord, we acknowledge your presence in our midst. For this day come to our need, the Lord was set in the Lord. That we should gather in your word and be imparted. Father, for us, Lord, in the region. We ask this morning, Lord, as we gather and we hear, we want us to release to take our to come to us and make a change that your name will be glorified in this nation in the name of Jesus. And Lord, I promise our parents for you family that even as we make that we will order our steps, even as we have ordered our steps today, and we are now getting the grace, Lord, to receive the knowledge to require Father to really change our life. We thank you this morning. And as we are even as our speakers are ready to us, we are prepared as blessings. Lord, that the orphans will speak to us and be planted by the Lord. We know that this release, Lord, we cannot with you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Derek, for that powerful prayer. So, my name is Esther Michiga, and I'm honored to be your Master of Ceremonies for this program. So, also allow me to introduce some dignitaries that we have amongst us this morning. We are honored to have been joined by the Provost, Professor Danson Awudu. We also have Dr. Amos Asinubi Prapo. He is CEO of Legacy Care Improvement Center. He's also with us this morning. We also have Ms. Naomi Chusha. She is the diplomat from and of course, we also have the Dean of the Faculty of Agric, Dr. Fred Imo, with us this morning. So we'll right straight into it. Our provost has somewhere else to be. So I'll call him to come and give us a welcome address. So,
Thank you very much. The representative from Canada Enterprise Agency, Mike Spider, is supposed to be online, and I'm sure the team is ready to connect them. The lead organizer, Dr. Eligade, my team is here, colleagues, lecturers. The students, ladies, and gentlemen, and the media. It's indeed an honor and privilege for me to join you on this occasion of Ghana Innovation Hackathon. Let me begin with appreciation to the founders and organizers and the participants who are giving themselves to participate in this activity. In fact, there's a need to secure the partnership plan of our students, particularly
as the investor education is also to develop entrepreneurial mindset of graduates by the time they are finishing school. For entrepreneurship to strive, there's a need for innovation. And any society that fails to innovate risks extinction. So you realize that even in animal kingdom, all the animals that failed to innovate went into extinction. The same thing applied to a society. Once society failed to innovate, then risks extinction. And if you look at cocoa, It's one of the major export crops for Ghana, and as a country tries to improve productivity in the face of climate change, it is important we innovate and build capacity of the farmers on climate-smart agriculture and sustainable cocoa production. And I believe that this activity today will be geared towards that. The innovation should not be limited to the farmers alone, but it should include the entire cocoa value chain for today. This requires introduction of innovative approach to address critical challenges facing the cocoa sector in the country. So, that is to leave school, you can demonstrate resilience and create innovative business along the cocoa value chain so that we can sustain the cocoa industry. I would therefore like to encourage the participants to put up their best. On this note, before I take my seat, I'll once again thank the Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands and for the financial support, the Van Hall Larenstein University of Applied Sciences for the collaboration, the Student Association to allow this program during the Student Week celebration, and the organizers for their effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your remarks. So I would also call on our Dean, Dr. Fred Nimo, to give us a short speech. Dean.
Thank you so much, Chairman, Provosts, and dignitaries. Welcome. Students, welcome. I think my Provost has said it all. So a brief and a short one is, we wish the contestants the best. And let us all here try and learn something new, right? Wherever or whenever we gather, we learn something new. And remember, it is for the good of creating opportunities for growth and development of Mother Ghana and the global economy. We wish ourselves the best. Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you very much, Dean. Okay, so as we are aware, we also have some partners from Netherlands, and they have a short message for us in the form of a video. So very soon they will be displaying that for us, and we'll get to know what message they have for us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeroen Verheul. I'm ambassador of the Netherlands to Ghana, and it's my pleasure to welcome you in Kumasi for this hackathon. This hackathon is a part of our program to support the cocoa sector in Ghana. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeroen Verheul. I'm ambassador of the Netherlands to Ghana, and it's my pleasure to welcome you in Kumasi for this hackathon. This hackathon is a part of our program to support the cocoa sector in Ghana. And the cocoa sector is extremely important, both for Ghana and the Netherlands, in view of the number of people that are working in the cocoa sector and are earning a living there, and also in terms of trade between Ghana and the Netherlands. So that is a sector which has our particular interest. So we're very pleased that you are here at this hackathon and that you are willing to see how young people can strengthen the cocoa sector. Because the cocoa sector is a sector which has a long history, but is also dominated by mainly old farmers. So one of the challenges that the sector faces is to attract young people. And young people providing solutions, providing innovative solutions, are very welcome to help strengthen the cocoa sector. The collaboration between a university and the private sector and the public sector is also extremely important. That is a lesson we learned when we built our agricultural sector, that you have to strengthen that collaboration, and we call it the Dutch diamond. So we're hoping that you are going to contribute to the Ghanaian diamond. I wish you a very good hackathon.
Thank you very much. I think we had some technical challenges with the volume, so pardon us with that. As time goes on, we'll fix that and replay the volume, the video for us to listen to what the ambassador has for us. So our next speaker is a distinguished Dutch diplomat responsible for cocoa and youth initiatives from the Netherlands Embassy in Accra. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Naomi Tunstra as she delivers her keynote address.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. First of all, my compliments to the MC on pronouncing my name correctly. It doesn't happen often. So well done on your Dutch. Esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, and dear students, allow me to stand on existing protocol. It is my honor to be here today and speak on behalf of the ambassador, which you just saw in the video, Jeroen Verheul. My name is, as the MC said, Naomi Tunstra. I'm the second secretary of the Economic Affairs team of the Netherlands Embassy. I live in Accra and I've been here for 3 years now. And I've visited KNUST-TEK several times, so I'm very happy to be here again today. I'm so excited that today we are going to make good use of your brilliant minds, and I'm glad that you showed up in great numbers, because I think the cocoa sector can use a couple of brilliant minds, and I'm relying on you today to come to the table with some good ideas. Today I would like to address you in this keynote address on a couple of things. First of all, I would like to point out the role of cocoa and the cocoa sector for Ghana and the Netherlands. Why is it so important? Then I would also like to dwell a bit on why do we need young people in the cocoa sector? And then lastly, I'll talk about the importance of collaboration. So it won't come as a surprise to you that cocoa is an important crop for Ghana. I mean, I'm sure you're all very well aware of that. More than 800,000 farmers in Ghana make a living from cocoa farming. Some of you might have even grown up on a cocoa farm, or you might know a cocoa farmer or two. But you might not know why cocoa is so important for the Netherlands. The Netherlands is the biggest cocoa importer in the world. The Netherlands imports roughly 20% of all the world's cocoa. And then it's usually processed to the first stage and then re-exported to countries like Belgium, Germany, France, and Switzerland to make chocolate. So the Netherlands is not per se known as a famous chocolate country, but we do play a big role in that bean to bar process, so to say. So the Netherlands functions as a hub, and that makes it a very important commodity for us as the Netherlands. And that is also why, as the Netherlands, we find it important to play an active role in countries like Ghana, but also Côte d'Ivoire, to help build a sustainable and productive cocoa sector. Because in the end, the cocoa sector is not free from challenges, and also that I assume you are well aware of. A lot of the trees are old or diseased. Farmers often don't earn enough money from the cocoa proceeds to invest in their farm and run it as a business. Farms are sometimes transitioned into galamsey sites, and so on. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it can make me feel hopeless and helpless. Because like I said, I've been here for 3 years now, so I've learned a lot about all the intricacies of the cocoa sector, and it can sometimes leave you disheartened. But I haven't come here today to talk about doom and gloom. Actually, when I look around and I see so many young people, it also fills my heart with a lot of hope. Because it means that you have come here today and apparently you have an interest in the cocoa sector, and you being here is also a testimony of the fact that the cocoa sector has a future, and that actually you are the future. So why is it so good to have so many young people around the room? Young people bring new energy, new ideas, new solutions. So please don't ever think that your ideas are silly or unrealistic, that you should not voice them because maybe they're not being worthy of being heard. You should believe that you can make a positive change in this world. And so don't hold back. Your ideas and your voices may be heard. There maybe are some people in the room that already have passed the stages of youth. And when I was sitting on this table just now, I was also very encouraged to hear that, for example, the provost is also very eager to allow space for innovation and new ideas. So I'm glad that KNUST provides a space where the voices of young people can be heard and new ideas can be nurtured, so to say. For example, the coffee sector in South America. We see that farmers do well for themselves. They approach farming as a business, they integrate innovations into their farms, and they look at different ways to capitalize on their farms. It's no longer just about farming, it's also about innovative new products, digitalization, and monitoring your farm, even with AI tools. And what's more, and I'm sure that will entice a lot of people as well, you can earn good money with it if you do it well. Of course, as a young person, you're thinking about your life and what you want to do, and it might not always be easy to think, where do I start? You just finished your degree, so how can you put that knowledge to good use? And that is why collaboration is so crucial. And that brings me to my third and last point. A strong collaboration, which the ambassador also referred to and which you might not have heard, but collaboration is very important, and as the Netherlands we have developed a model that is called the Dutch Diamond. It is a model that brings together universities, private sector, public sector, and for example NGOs. And by bringing those partners together that might not always be so naturally connected, it really brings about a great result, because collaboration like that allows company to set up from their universities, for example, in incubation centers, which I believe you also have here at KNUST. Companies can decide to settle close to universities because they are actively looking for collaboration, knowledge exchange, and the newest innovations that often spring from young minds. The cocoa sector needs a collaboration like this in order to boost innovation. Only if we put our hands together, we will come to new insights and ways of working that will boost productivity, farmer income, and modernization of the cocoa sector. And that's also why I'm so happy that you have worked on challenges already, and that we will hear about solutions that you came up with that were brought about by Dutch private sector. You can see them on the banners as well. These are Dutch companies that brought forward challenges that they wanted solutions to. And this is really the kind of example that I'm talking about, where we bring together those different stakeholders and we make use of each other's strengths. So let this hackathon be the start of a deeper collaboration between KNUST, Van Hal Larenstein, which is University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands, and especially the companies present here today. I thank the organizers and especially Dr. Eli for making this possible, and I wish you students all the best in bringing forward to your solutions today. And have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Naomi. And I'll call on Dr. Eli Gave to come and give us a general overview of how the program is going to go with regards to the hackathon and everything. Dr. Eli, please give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Before I give my overview, I would like to acknowledge one or two people, and I would also like to have them come up stage if they are here. Safisana, I think Mr. Dadzi from Safisana, are you here? I think we spoke a bit earlier. Yes, please come up here. Thank you very much. And then I'd also like to have the representative from East West. East West. Yes, please come up stage. You can sit, yes. So you can sit here. Okay. Just as you heard in the keynote address, this program is being organized by various organizations. And one of the key partners we have also have to do with the private sector, which are very important and pivotal when it comes to development of agriculture in Ghana. They also play a very important role in the cocoa sector. So the two people I've just called up stage are young entrepreneurs who are doing marvelously well in the cocoa sector in their small enterprises which they are running. So please, shall we give them a round of applause for their response to our invitation to come. In my address, I would like to start by talking about an experience I had recently when one of the leading agribusiness companies in Ghana called me to assess a situation they had. It's close to Accra. It's in the eastern region. They had an issue which had to do with productivity of their farms. They were not able to get maximum productivity, even though they put in all the resources, all the labor, and everything you can put into running an agricultural enterprise. So they asked me to come and see with one of my colleagues to see what can we do to enhance the productivity of their agro enterprises. One of the questions which was asked me by one of the staff of that company, he asked me, what is the problem with the kind of graduates you produce from agriculture? Not only from KNUST, but generally, they have seen a kind of a gap, a divide between the quality they expect from industry and the quality of graduates which emanates from the university. And when he asked me the question, there were about 5 or 6 students working in that company from our university. And the question hit me very hard. And I started to think about it, and I thought, what can we do to have a transformation in the situation we have at hand? The universities in Ghana together produce over 100,000 graduates every year. Over 100,000 graduates. So if you put together the University of Ghana, the University of UCC, University of Cape Coast, UDS, etc., we have over 100,000 students produced every year from those universities. It is established fact that less than 20% of those graduates gain employment after the first year of graduation. So the job market is quite bleak and is quite challenging for a young graduate who is not well-skilled, well-developed, and well-rounded, and well-fitted into industry. So the whole idea of the hackathon is to try to bridge the gap between the expectation of industry and what academia is able to do. That is why we have the theme saying that bridging the gap between industry and academia. And it says that bridging the gap between industry and academia through youth-led innovation and entrepreneurship in cocoa. She talked copiously about the youth-led innovation, and we see you as key players in the whole equation of agriculture. Agriculture cannot run if the youth are not involved. And for us to be able to stimulate youth innovation, stimulate youth interest in the sector, and building capacity along the value chain, that is why we are organizing this hackathon. We believe that through this hackathon, we are going to have young entrepreneurs, young graduates, young people, both ladies and gentlemen, who have the ability and the expertise to influence growth and development in the agricultural sector. When we talk about cocoa specifically, the highest yield we have had, or the highest production we have had over the last 20 years, give us up to about 1 million tons per hectare. Currently, we are doing less than that. We came to close to about 650 tons per hectare a few years back, and we've not been able to attain that height of 1.2 million tons per hectare, and we don't seem to be working towards getting to that point anytime soon. Looking at the challenges we have in climate and the challenges we have in youth disinterest in agriculture, there's a great threat to the cocoa sector. And if we do not arrest that threat posed to the cocoa sector, then the whole value chain of cocoa and the whole enterprise of cocoa, which we see as the bedrock of the Ghanaian economy, is going to be under serious threat. If we take out cocoa from the Ghanaian economy, we are going to be crashing as an economy and as a country. So we need to preserve the cocoa, and we need to preserve it like gold and like any kind of treasure that we would have. So when you find yourself here, one key objective we have is that we want to see you become individuals or youth who are interested in getting into the cocoa sector. The average age of the farmer in Ghana currently is close to 60 years. We cannot be relying on aging farmers to run our agriculture. We need the youth which are more energetic, more value-driven, and more purpose-driven to cause change and innovation in agriculture. So the hackathon is one of the instruments which we are using to drive the youth interest in agriculture, not only the cocoa sector, but in agriculture as a whole. We also want to use it as a way to garner industry interests in supporting agriculture. Currently, industry support for agriculture is not as strong as can be. And industry collaboration with academia also need to be improved. If you're able to improve the linkage between industry and academia, where information generated from research can be directly integrated into our agricultural development, then we can begin to rise again and make agriculture great again in the country. Many people talk about agriculture have to be sexy. That is one of the terms they use, that agriculture has to be sexy, it has to be attractive to the youth. Agriculture can only be attractive, and the cocoa sector can only be attractive if incentives are provided to support the industry. That is why the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, in collaboration with the Netherlands Embassy and all the other partners, are putting in resources to make sure that we stimulate the youth in order to become active players in the agricultural value chain. The whole concept is to have youth competing on ideas which generated from cases or challenges which have been provided by cocoa companies. So in the hackathon, we have 10 different groups which are currently going to compete on innovative ideas which they have produced in response to cases or challenges which have been presented to us by 5 different entities within the cocoa sector. So when you see this pull-up stand behind me and over there, you can see those companies which have contributed. You have their logos displayed. And so we would like to see all of you put up your best performances, and you are going to be winning prizes along the way. For the prizes, it is certain that the first group are going to win laptops. Yes, the first group, we have 6 members per team. Every member who wins in the first team is going to get a laptop, and that is guaranteed. That is guaranteed, yes. When we did the same program in February this year, the second group also had laptops, high-end laptops. And the third group had phones, Samsung phones. But this time, we are not going to, when we get to that stage, we will see what to do. But for now, I'm just certain that the first group is going to get laptops, and then the other groups are also going to be getting special prizes as well. So please put in your best, because you have opportunity. When you are able to excel in this presentation, one of the things we're also doing in the hackathon is to be able to build that network like I mentioned. So we are going to create opportunities for internship, for mentorship, and also for coaching. So if you are able to excel, you'll be linked up with some of those companies which we are partnering with for mentorship, for coaching, and for entrepreneurship. One of the key ways by which you can build your value and your skill is to do entrepreneurship, and to do mentorship, and to do coaching. It's one of the ways by which I built a lot of skill whilst being a student. One of the things I did when I was a student was to volunteer. I used to volunteer for organizations, and I used to work for free. So I think I've become used to working for free so much so that I'm always doing a lot of things, volunteering and working for free. It's something that had been a part of me, that you deliver your best and do the best in everything you can. So for you to be able to make progress in life, be ready also to have that mindset change for progress. Have a mindset change. I always give a quote by one George Bernard Shaw, which says that progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. So as youth who are here doing agriculture, don't see agriculture as a burden, but see it as an opportunity for transformation and for change. And one of my favorite quotes also comes from Martin Luther King Jr., who says that if you are called upon to be a street sweeper, sweep it so well as Shakespeare would compose a poetry, or Beethoven would compose music. Sweep it so well that all the hosts of angels in heaven will look down upon you and say that there once lived a great street sweeper. Can we say that there once lived a great street sweeper about you? This is what we want to make out of you. A great youth, a great leader, a great entrepreneur who is able to transform agriculture and help to transform the nation and build a stronger economy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ellie. And indeed, progress is impossible without change. And one thing that I took from the speech he gave us is the importance of volunteering. I mean, as youth upcoming, sometimes we tend to not pay much importance to volunteering, but it is one thing that is very, very important as we grow and develop in life. So we need to keep that in mind. So moving forward, we would also get some speeches from our sponsors. So please kindly join us. And yeah. Oh, please clap for him. Okay, so I'll leave Mr. Elvis to take over and then give us his speech.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Elvis Amwakon from Safisana, Ghana. Safisana is a waste-to-resource enterprise based in the Netherlands and Ghana over here. So basically, as part of what we do, we collect waste every single day from the local market and transform it into high-quality cocoa board certified organic fertilizer. That is why this particular event is so important to us, because to make the cocoa sector resilient and to improve upon the quality that we know the Ghana cocoa is recognized for, we need to restore organic matter into our soils. We partner with the Netherlands Embassy, KNUST-TEK, VHL, and the other partners to make sure this program is a success. And lastly, to the students over here, we should also know that we are not just competing for a prize. We are going to bring up challenges and bring up ideas, innovative ideas that are going to transform and direct to real operational challenges that companies face every single day on a daily basis. So it is important that we all put in our best efforts and make this program a success. Thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. So I'll call on our second sponsor to also join us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am an alumni of this school, so whenever I meet my colleagues from this school, I'm really, really happy. And I must say that indeed, agriculture is a business and not a chore. That is always my motto. So how can we make agriculture as a business? That is where East-West knowledge transfer with the funding from the Netherlands Embassy, we have been able to train about 20,000 farmers on improved techniques on vegetable production. So today, we are here at this hackathon to challenge the students. What can we do to attract, especially the youth, into agriculture? Because I must say, if I ask you how many of you go to agriculture, it's very difficult to see a lot of hands over here, because we see agriculture to be a very tedious job. But as I said, it is not tedious. It is now innovation, research that we use to do a lot of production in agriculture. So at East-West Knowledge Transfer, as I said, we have 10 models that will take farmers through a comprehensive model for agriculture, especially vegetable production. So we have been, as I said, trained almost 20,000 farmers in the Bono East, the Modern region, the Ahafo region, the Ashanti region, and now we are now in the Upper East region. So as we can see, we are here as students to especially help these cocoa farmers. At the end of the day, the cocoa farmer will always be producing, but it gets to a point in time, they will be like, I don't have money to even continue again. What can we do? Is there any alternative livelihood program that we can give to the cocoa farmers? That is where we are at this hackathon to challenge our students that please come up with innovation, something that we can give to our farmers in a whole, for them to rely on it so that they can always help our cocoa sector to grow. Thank you very much, and I look forward to this challenge. I'll be one of your judges, so don't worry.
Okay, thank you very much. And we also have some of our sponsors joining us from Netherlands online, so we would also get their messages. Please give us a few minutes as we try to connect them online. Okay, so they are still trying to fix that. And whilst we wait for that, I don't want us to feel bored. I'll call on Dr. Amos Azinu Rutherford, the founder and CEO of Crop Improvement Center, to come and give us a very short presentation. Please, let's give him a hand. You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam MC. And let me stand on all the existing protocols and also thank the provost and the dean and all the faculty members who organized the program to invite me. Before I said what I want to share with you this morning, I'm a professional farmer, but I'm not far from you. Many years ago, I'm also sitting where you are sitting, not in this university, but in your sister university. So this morning we are together. Are we together? Good. So it's not a World Cup. 2020 is World Cup. This is a friendly match we are going to play. Okay? So thank you for that. I noticed that you have heard a lot of things this morning. So I am not going to inflate upon you what I want to share with you into details, but I want to share 3 things with you. I'm not going to talk about cocoa because I'm not an expert in the cocoa. See, I'm a seed producer, a plant breeder by training, and I run a seed company in this country. But I want to share these 3 stories with you, just 3 stories. The first one has to do with an article I've written not long ago that talk about the mindset of agriculture graduates in this country. It's a very long article, and I will not want to read everything to you. It's online, you can find it and read it. But basically, to put everything in context, this is what I'm trying to digest and put in your mind. You go to every farm today, would that be a smallholder farm or commercial farm? You realize that, for instance, our tractor operators in those farms are people who don't even have BEC certificates. Are we together? And they are the ones that are preparing the food for us to grow agriculture. And we have, as a country, thinking that Ghana can be the West Africa agribusiness hub. There's no way we are going to establish that center or that system with the kind of mindset of the graduates we have. So I'm very happy when I saw the team talking about youth-led innovation. So it means that you guys are center part of whatever we want to do. So if the guys who are in the center part of that have a certain mindset that does not bring progress and development, then that vision is not going to achieve. Okay? So we have this mindset in our mind where an average Ghanaian graduate thinks that, oh, because I'm a graduate, I'm not supposed to drive a tractor. I'm not supposed to open a irrigation system. I need to be a supervisor. So everybody wants to be a supervisor with the clipboard, pencil, and big authority. Let me make it clear to you. So I've done a lot of research in a commercial farm in that country. One is not far from me in Akusi. That farm owns about 1,000 acre irrigation farm with a central pivot system. The farm manager at that farm was brought from Brazil. Yes. And this guy was just a diploma holder. So they bought him a whole brand new pickup, rent 4-bedroom apartment for him. So the question I asked myself, so the owners of this farm, they cannot find any graduate in this country. And I'm sure they are paying him as an expatriate. They are not paying him in cedis. They may pay a cedi equivalent, but the money may be so heavy. That tells you that we are failing as a people. And we need to change our mindset. That is very crucial. The point number 2, we live in a society that is very dishonest society. So my argument to the people every day is that we cannot train entrepreneurs when they operate in a very dishonest society. So the KNUST here, with a partnership from Netherlands Embassy, maybe train you guys for whatever you want to do. I agree. But if we don't equip you guys also with integrity and ethics, whatever value we put in you, when you get out of this room to the larger society, those values will be missed. Are we together? Because our society is crafted on a lot of integrity, and that integrity is not available. So we build a society that is very dishonest people who don't have to. When you send a labor to the farm, they either steal you. But we need to have a generation that are very honest people, that can be true to the matter and said, we want to change things. The last thing, but not the least, I want to urge you, all of you, especially those of you who are taking part in the quiz or whatever competition you are doing, that is the platform to be a pace setter. Okay? Many years ago, I used to be like you. When I was leaving a graduate school, my friend told me point blank that you, with your nature, you cannot work in the public sector. And I asked him why. He said, oh, you question everything too much. In the public sector, you have to follow instruction. If you get a job there, and this kind of attitude you have, you'll be sacked. And in fact, it works on me. So, to be honest with you, when we finish school, I refuse to undertake national service. Because if I want to get a job in the public sector, I need national service certificate, right? So from the onset, I started farming. Yeah. So when my colleagues were doing national service, I did not partake. This is not to say do the same thing like me, but you need to have that audacity to say you want to change things that are not working well. The business I do today, many years ago when I came, there are a lot of people who are doing the business. Okay. And they used to refer to my company, a small Amos company. That was a decade ago. And because I have that tenacity to, or resilience to say, this is what I want to achieve, and be able to push. Because the society there will try to define who you are supposed to be. Are we together? That is the fact. If you leave school and whatever vision you have from here, whatever you wanted to do, the truth of the matter is that whatever you are going to meet outside there will define who you'll be in the future. You either have to just cope with the society you meet or you give up. But if you follow the status quo we have in that society, you are not going to achieve any impact. So what do? You need to challenge that. You need to build and set the pace for others to follow. And doing that, you need what I call tenacity. And that is what we need. So when you are living here, with your certificate and everything, some of you may leave your boyfriend or girlfriend. That is fine. It's also part of the journey, right? But make sure that you are living here with some level of resilience. Resilience means that you get outside there and say no to all the nonsense there. If you are not able to do that, I can guarantee you, you will not go anywhere. You either have to be like some of us who are normal people outside there, or we suppress you. But if you want to be the top of the game, then you need to build that resilience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Azino, for that wonderful presentation. So, whilst we are still waiting for the technical team to fix the internet connection for us, we would go on a short break, right? A short break where we can use this time to connect with each other. Yeah, so we'll be right very soon.
Are you with me? We are not going to have a break now, because when we have a break, I don't know if you will come back. I suspect you will not come back. Yeah, so what we'll do is that we will just go into the group presentations. So we have the group to present. After the group presentations, then we can now disperse. Then if your lunch and snack is not ready, you come back or you wait around for it. We'll be giving you snacks and lunch. And looking at the number, everybody would have something. So you've been given some colorful cheats. Those are for your meals. Yeah, those are for your meals. Yeah, so if the food comes and you want to keep them, we will give them back to you so that you can have them. They look nice, right? Yeah, I like them when I designed them. I think they look really good. Yeah, so we'll just go on with the group presentations. Are the groups ready? They are ready, right? Can I see by hand some of the members in the groups? I'm sure all of you in the orange dresses. They can. So the online is okay. Then they are live with us. Perfect. Then let me leave it to the MC, and then we'll continue. After that, we'll do the group presentations so that we can close early. It means that we'll be closing about an hour before time. Yeah, so that those of you who say you have lectures, you can go back for your lectures. So let's continue with it.
Okay.
So for the group presentations, we'll be having judges. There will be about 3 judges for the group presentations. The 2 personnel from East West and Safisana will be members of the judges. And then, Director, you didn't speak. You are supposed to have spoken. You have to give us a word before you go. She's the director, the municipal director. If you have any challenge in agriculture, your project work, she's the one you have to see. Yes, she's also one of the students who graduated from here. Then she did a master's here, now trying to get into a PhD program. Yes, so she's a great lady. When I met her, I was happy with her level of understanding of agriculture. And I was really appreciative of the insights she shared with me when we met recently. And that's why I chose to invite her. Yes, so please, thank you very much for coming for our program. So she'll also be one of the judges for the program as well. So they will sit here when the presentations start. I don't know if there's any other company represented. I heard somebody was coming from Niche. I tried to call the person yesterday, I didn't get the person. I don't know if there's any representative from any other company here. Do we have anyone from any other company? Niche is not here, Olam, etc. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So let's have the Dutch team presenting. Then after that, we'll do the group.
Okay, so we will start with our first presentation from Mr. Mike Sips. He's also from the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. Hello, Mr. Mike. Yes, please, we can hear you. Good morning.
Amazing hackathon. So much has already been said, so I'm going to keep it actually very brief. I'm going to reach directly to the students that are here today, because today, this is your day. With this hackathon, you can give the
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Sips. So, thank you for joining us. Our second presentation will be from Professor Dr. Leo Sweetiven. Good morning, Prof. Hello, Prof. Please kindly unmute.
Esteemed Professor Dr. Alumni of as a provost of KNUST-TEK University of Science and Technology, it's my pleasure that I've been invited to address you, our colleagues, students, and business sector. Since the collaboration started, it has been a pleasure to see your genuine interest and strength in education. And I think that was what Dr. A referred to, how to make it sexy and attractive. Esteemed Naomi Terpstra of the Netherlands Embassy and Mikey Sips with Emma Malway, representing the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. Also my colleagues, of Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I've seen many committees and all the emails and abstracts from Dr. Ailey. Many of you have contributed to the organization in diverse committees, and you've done a lot of work during the planning, organization, and management of this hackathon. The representatives of the global business value chain and knowledge providers, colleagues and students, it's an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the second Global Hackathon. Thank you, Dr. Ailey, to be with you again in the coordination, and also very much so as a project partner. Esteemed dignitaries, with all protocols observed, I'd like to express my respect for this next step in our joint project. And I want to share this day that our project is fostering collaboration between students, teachers, and industry to develop solutions that enhance the sustainability within the copper sector. And the idea of stakeholder engagement in such a systemic approach in the copper sector also very much focuses on the role of youth. As it was said, youth are our future. In the project, we are searching for the design and development of knowledge learning strategies in partnership with the corporate sector to inspire actualization of the curriculum and also to explore new forms of non-formal learning in the collaboration. And therefore, this project also has a very long-term view. It's not only today. There is a long-term view that based on a continuous evaluation of all activities, we are able to enhance collaboration between knowledge industries on the one hand and industry on the other hand. In the context of this hackathon, what I did, I looked at the 2014 hackathon, where are you? Oh, it is, oh here. In 2014, after our first work we did with colleagues from the cocoa sector, we joined the World Cocoa Conference, which was hosted by the Dutch government. If I review this, it's about 12 years ago. 12 years ago, and who are the students? You were maybe young in primary school or toddler, but for many people in academia, we are also looking back to understand how the future will look like. In this event guide, we don't see any reference to higher education, not to the curriculum, not to the students. So that is also, I like to compliment the joint effort of the university, of the embassy, and the Netherlands Enterprise Agency to initiate this project in the realm of higher education, innovating And therefore, now today we have the second hackathon as part of the Science and Technology. And it's a vision that all these participants, new students, with the real life challenges, you are going to work, you explore the cocoa sector, and you experience cocoa farmers as a long-term experience. There are risks, there are hazards, there are hopes. It's a seasonal family activity, and we hope you are interested to join the cocoa sector. From the first hackathon, we saw that students said it broadened my understanding of the cocoa valorization in general and how to improve that aspect of the cocoa sector. But they also said it's for us very valuable to collaborate with students of other programs of cocoa innovation, with whom we otherwise never talk. So this idea that we have separate studies in agriculture and in whatever academic study, we also see we are getting increasingly more interdisciplinary. And what was also appreciated by students, that it opens us to think beyond normal classroom thinking. It drags us into solving real life challenges. And it also gives us the idea that we are problem solvers. And therefore the solution in the program starts with this. And you are very right, to think so. In the universities, we're not teaching you only towards your graduation. We try to share our experiences, our knowledge, for you to make those next steps which are required in the world. So there are another 5 interesting challenges which are awaiting you, and we are looking forward, what may happen. And if we look at the jury reports after the first hackathon, we see that they were surprised that solutions presented are scalable and can generate competitive advantage. Or the presentation clearly outlined the economic, environmental, and social benefits. And after the first hackathon, there was a vote. Did we really prepare for the students to give a follow-up? And I heard from Dr. Amy, those ideas really have been paid attention to. So dear colleagues, private sector representatives, we hope this second hackathon gives you inspiration. It gives you a good impression of the knowledge, the creativity and engagement of the new generation. To my colleagues at the university, good luck with the implementation of the hackathon. It's always a demanding dynamics, but I also hope you get a chance to enjoy the day, because it has impressed me.
Okay, please, let's clap for them. Yes, so we've gotten to the second part of the program, which has to do with the presentation. So I hope all the groups are ready. Are you ready? Oh, I can't feel the film.
Are you ready? Okay, so I would like our judges to take their seats in front, and whilst the first group prepares to come for their presentation. Judges. So our judges are all seated now and ready. So I'll call on the first group, group 1, to come forward and present. Group 1.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow students. My name is Clinton Selassie Tubenu, and I'm in Group 1, Agribusiness Management, third year.
Please, my name is Andrew Samponza.
Please, I'm Faustina Kai Kromo.
My name is Benita Atafin, a second-year landscape student, and I'm in Group 1.
My name is Blessing Kumi Ajimai, second-year agribusiness.
I'm Jumfo Judith. It's not working. I'm Judith Jumfo, a second-year natural resource management student.
Good morning. As earlier stated, my name is Clinton Selassie Tubenu, and I'm here on behalf of Group 1, and I'll be presenting on the title of Alternative Livelihood, of which we'll be working in hand with the East-West Transfer Knowledge Company. So why are we here? We are here because we encountered the problem. The problem is that the youth are not into cocoa production. Now, why are the youth not into cocoa production? This is because they view cocoa production as a very tedious work, and the cocoa production is a seasonal farming technique. Due to this, they try to move away from the cocoa production to enter into other ventures where they can get enough money. Now, the problem being faced, which people are affected by the problem? First of all, the youth themselves are affected by the problem. Why? Human needs and wants are constant, but with cocoa production, income from it is seasonal. Due to this, they are not able to meet their yearly and monthly demands, so they gear towards other ventures. Also, the cocoa farmers themselves are affected. Why are they affected? Because the youth are gearing away from cocoa production, they are losing labor. And when they lose labor, it means that their outputs are reducing. And if their outputs are reducing, it means that they are also not getting money. Also, the third group being faced by the problem is the government or the cocoa sector as a whole. The government depends more on cocoa sector to get enough revenue to fund all its businesses. So if the youth are not into cocoa production and they are not getting more, it means that the government is also losing money. Now, what's our solution? As Group 1, we came up with a 5-pillar structure solution where we inculcate different methods to help solve the problem that the cocoa sector is facing. So the first of all, we talk about year-round vegetable production. So with this, we encourage that the youth, apart from the cocoa production, they can intercrop their cocoa plant with vegetables, or they can even partition some of their land and use it for vegetable production, where they can get all year round produce to sell and get enough money. Additionally, they can enter into value additional processing. How do they do this? They can grow their crops, then add value. They can add value by simply washing, sorting, and packaging them in forms that will be desired by customers. And also, they can rely on the use of byproducts like cocoa pod to generate soap and other compost materials. And also, we will talk about beekeeping. Why beekeeping? Because beekeeping will serve as additional source of income through the sale of honey and beeswax. Alternatively, the bees can also serve as pollinators, which will help boost and increase yield. Then we talk about the use of digital technologies like the use of smartphones to access credible market information and other weather forecast information. Then we talk about the climate smart infrastructure, where we inculcate the use of drones, the use of irrigation pumps, and other digital and other technologies to help boost production. Now, the solution that we propose, it must have a value or an impact on the people being faced by this problem. As group one, we've divided our impact into 3 major groupings that will be affected. We have the youth. Now, with the youth, when they consider our proposal, it means that they are getting enough money as compared to when they enter into just cocoa production. Now, with the vegetable, because vegetable production takes a very short time, they can get enough money and continue throughout the year without any stress. Then also, once they are able to set up the business, they can scale out the businesses and employ other people to help solve the problem of unemployment. Also, the cocoa sector gets to benefit. Why? The activities of the youth through their beekeeping will enhance fruit development, and if more fruits are developed, it means that they can produce and get more money that they can sell and get more money as farmers. Then also the nation gets to benefit. How do the nation get to benefit? Instead of the youth leaving their rural areas to come and overcrowd the urban centers, they have jobs available for them in the rural areas, of which they can help. And also the government can also benefit because there will be more cocoa produced for them that they can export to get more money from it. So we end this by saying that when our proposal is being considered, they can start pilot projects across the stated regions, which is the AHAFO, where our company is currently working at. They can scale it, and when they achieve desirable results, it can be scaled up as a nationwide project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Group 1. Judges, please, do you have any questions for them?
So you mentioned, thank you. So you mentioned one of the first pillars, year-round vegetable production. You didn't go details into that. I mean, you know, in Ghana we have 2 seasons, that's the dry season and the wet season. So during the dry season, what happens to this initiative of all year-round vegetable production? What are we supposed to do when the rains are not coming? Because you know we need the rains to produce vegetables all year-round.
Yes, first of all, through the use of digital equipment, we can get enough information on the weather patterns or how much rainfall we should expect. Then also, within our 5th point, the climate smart infrastructure, in our write-up, it is stated that we make provisions where we can trap or harvest rainwater when they fall excessively. Then with the use of pumps and other irrigation materials like drips, we can supply water throughout the period, even when we don't have rainfall.
Thank you very much. I think this is my area, so I have a lot of questions that you need to answer for me. I was looking forward to you bringing up a small business plan where the farmer will see that, okay, if I rely on this business plan, if I buy this, I do this, I do that, how much am I going to earn from especially the vegetable and even the beekeeping is also my area. And you talking about intercropping, we cannot intercrop in cocoa field, especially when they are grown. So I don't know how the intercropping also comes in. And for example, if the farmer, when he has already finished growing his cocoa, where is he going to get land? Have you thought of any piece of land that can be available that the farmer can cultivate? So I have this, please do you get my question? So first of all, the intercropping is no. And then second one, do you have any small business plan? Business plan that the farmer can see and say that yes, this is achievable, that you can rely on it to produce.
So any other group member to answer the question? A different group member? Okay, so come for it.
Yes, please, you made mention that the intercropping is not possible. Yes, but during the initial stages of cocoa production, when we start the nursery, cocoa production has a very long period before we get to the maturity stage. So instead of us waiting for us to get to the maturity stage, we can start with the vegetable production, because at that stage, the cocoa crops haven't grown to a certain height that they can overshadow our vegetable production. Then considering you talking about inadequate land, we have provisions that we can have sacks. We can have sacks where we collect sand into them, add compost and other organic materials, then we can grow the vegetables in there behind our houses or within our backyard.
Please, are you okay?
Okay, so let's leave it there. But what I was talking about in terms of the business plan is this. You can just advise the farmer. Can you have just small piece of land, just 100 by 100 square meters? The person can cultivate a small portion of, let's say, lettuce, and it can fetch him something. Or cucumber, it can fetch him something. So if the farmer sees that, okay, if I have just 100 square meter, it's just small. That is what we are trying to let the farmers know. So that they wouldn't see that, oh, it means I need to have a big piece of land before I'll be able to go in that way. So I think that's the business plan aspect I was talking about. With the intercropping, as I was saying, if the cocoa grows, now we have cocoa farmers already there. How are we going to help them to know that, okay, we don't do intercropping? So thank you very much for your answers. I'm okay.
Thank you very much, Group 1. You can take your seats now. Group 2. So you are the one present. Group 2, are you ready?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Abao, and I'm here to present on behalf of my team members on the topic attracting youth into cocoa farming through income diversification. To begin with, cocoa is one of the most important crops in Ghana's economy as it provides financial support to many households in the rural communities. However, there is a challenge in the cocoa industry. Per the statistics, an average farmer is about 55 years old, and the youth participation in cocoa farming is very low, which affects productivity in the cocoa sector. The reason is that cocoa is a seasonal crop and provides seasonal income, which the youth find to be unprofitable as they will have to wait for a longer period of time for them to gain their profit. So they venture into other business opportunities. To address this challenge, I suggest the integrated cocoa livelihood system. This system is a youth-focused solution whereby cocoa farming is combined with complementary income generating system. This system comes in 3 key ways. First is the vegetable intercropping system. In this system, farmers are going to grow vegetable crops such as pepper and other leafy vegetables, such as lettuce. Since vegetables do not take a longer time to be harvested, there will be regular and quick generation of revenue. The second one is milk farm. Retain. The last one is digitalization. For this, an app can be created where farmers will have access to ready markets and have information on climate changes and all. This will make cocoa farming profitable and efficient. This solution solves directly the problem of seasonal income and reduce financial risk. This is seen as innovative as this solution is seen innovative as it integrates agriculture, business, and digitalization. It then transforms cocoa farming into a multiple agribusiness instead of relying on a single crop. In conclusion, by turning cocoa farming into a profitable and efficient agribusiness, we can attract the youth and then secure the future of the Ghana's cocoa industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 2. Judges, please, do you have any questions?
So, yeah, can you hear me? Thank you very much for your presentation. I like the way you had the confidence of presenting the knowledge on what you were doing, and your communication was also on top. I like it. Thank you very much. So I have 1 or 2 questions for you. One, as my co-judge asked the other group, when we are in the dry season, that is where the farmers suffers a lot. So how are you going to get water for you to manage your vegetable farm? And also, with the pepper under the cocoa tree, do you see it as a feasible? Do you see it feasible? The leafy vegetable, the lettuce, the cabbage, can they grow under the cocoa tree?
For the dry season, we will implement irrigation systems so that water will complement the rainfall. Yeah. And then the second question again, please. The vegetables won't be growing as the cocoa trees are matured. We will start as we plant the cocoa trees so that they grow with the cocoa trees. Since the cocoa trees take a long time to reach the maturity stage, by the time it gets there, we'll be able to harvest some of the vegetable crops. When the canopies, okay, when the canopies shade the farm, we will have to plant shade-tolerant crops as well.
So with the starting of the production, we go in for tonja system, whereby we inculcate leafy vegetables as the cocoa production. We start the cocoa seedlings. So we plant them at regular spaces, whereby there is more availability of sunlight. And also, we can also add plantain, which can provide a shade, a temporal shade for the cocoa, as cocoa doesn't like more sunlight during the early stages. So as the cocoa canopy also closes, we can also inculcate shade-tolerant species such as tomatoes, pepper, and mushrooms in order to grow under the shades of the cocoa. So these can generate income for youth instead of relying on only cocoa, which is a seasonal crop.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the AI video the AI picture was very perfect. Hello? The AI picture is very, very perfect, but in the ideal situation, that's not what happens on the field. Looking at the matured plants and yeah, so you talked about the snail farming. Can you expand more on it? How do you intend to undertake that project?
Okay, so snails prefer a very low temperature whereby there is not much heat. So under the cocoa farm, whereby when the canopy closes, we can establish a snail farming whereby we have our something like a box form, a structure in a box form, whereby we can keep the snails under, and then since the canopy is already closed, it gives the snails moderate temperature, which won't, there is no enough heat to interrupt their growth. Since we are trying to generate a cropping system whereby we can inculcate everything inside the production, we also thought of, since the canopy is being closed, we can also inculcate the snail farming under the canopies. Okay.
So thank you very much, Group 2. Please, let's clap for them. Group 3. Group 3, kindly come up stage. You have 5 minutes to present.
Okay, so good morning once again. And we are Group 3, presenting on the challenge title, Develop Innovative Compost Application Technology. So the main problem of our challenge is farmers know that compost works, they make it on their farms, but then spreading the compost by then spreading the compost, but then but then mic is not working. Okay, so but then spreading the compost by hand leaves the farmer to guess the exact dosage to apply to each tree. And then after they guess the dosage, which they apply the compost right next to the trunk of the trees where the feeder roots are not most active at. So absorption is a bit slow in that concern. And then they leave the compost uncovered, allowing half of the nitrogen to be lost, and then exposing the husk and the pods to the Phytophthora spores, which causes the black pod diseases in cocoas. This single problem has caused this. This
Turn it away from the mouth, this one. So turn it away from the mouth. It is on.
It goes off every single time. So then, as I was saying, this single problem has caused Ghana to lose approximately $230 million in combating the black pod diseases. So then we thought of this, and then we came up with a single idea. What if the farmer can apply the correct dosage of compost for each tree, and then cover the dosage to prevent the nitrogen from being lost, all in one single activity. So we came up with the ring dose spreader cart that allows the farmer to go around each tree, spread the compost along the drip lines of the trees where the feeder roots are most active to allow for better absorption of the nutrients, and then covering the compost to prevent the nitrogen from being lost, also to prevent Phytophthora from attacking the compost, causing the black pod diseases. So the main solution was we built our cart on a wheelbarrow. He used the wheelbarrow as the frame for our cart. So we separated the wheelbarrow into 2 different stages. The first one is the dose, which is a 2-lever mechanism. So on the handles of the wheelbarrow, we put 2 levers on each handle. One lever will calibrate a correct dosage and then allow it to feed into a hopper attached underneath the wheelbarrow. And then the second lever would release that calibrated dosage along the drip lines of the tree. And then for stage 2, for the coverage, we we came up with a detachable drag bar that that can be attached to the wheelbarrow, where if the farmer is going around the tree, the drag bar can pull loose soil to cover the compost to prevent the nitrogen from being lost. And then with this one, because not all terrains are even, we made it detachable in the sense that if the terrain is uneven, the farmer can detach it, and then a two-man job, and then a two-man team go around each tree, applying the compost and then covering it. So then, on how to build a tree, we made this. And welders can build the machine. Is the battery. So we are using recycled metals for our framework on how to build the body. So scrap metal, which is already known by the local welders, and then because we chose the wheelbarrow as our frame, it is one of the most common machines or tools known to local welders and artisans. So for the parts, we are planning on using scrap metal found locally to prevent the extra cost of importing materials and importing parts of the machine into the country. And then on making this thing work, we plan to use a trained youth team, which is we train youth teams, unemployed youth teams, creating a paid network for all of them. And we create a short low literacy guide to guide these farmers on the complexities of the machine, to make it easier for them to apply it into their farms, and then to make it better for compost application. So for the impact, quick trials across board has shown a 56 to 101% increase in yield when the compost is applied correctly, and then 90% of the nitrogen is retained when the compost is covered, and then the 230 million cost that I mentioned earlier is solved because we cover the compost to prevent the diseases from happening, and then we provide jobs, and then the thing is extremely low cost for local farmers. Thank you.
Yes. Hello. So thank you for your presentation. Can you go over to the slide that is displaying the picture? Go over to the slide that is displaying the picture of the equipment. Of the material, yeah.
Okay. So, thank you. As I said, this is, yes. Okay. Okay, so as we can see over there, there's a big basin on the equipment, and then there are two levers, first one and the second one. So the idea behind this is that compost is poured into the main basin over there, and then one lever releases a calibrated dose into the basin underneath. This is the main basin I'm talking about. This is the main basin I'm talking about. And then one lever drops a calibrated dosage into the underground hopper. And then the second lever releases the calibrated dosage on the farm. So we are going with a drip line application method, where we apply the compost along the drip lines of the trees, where the feeder roots are most active to allow for better absorption of the nutrients. So, so do you have an idea of the quantities required for the basin? I mean, how much quantities of compost you are going to put in the basin, and how much quantities are released by the lever you mentioned down there? For example, if you need to cover, say, about an acre or 2 acres of land, that is huge. So we are doing this, we are actually attempting this idea to help reduce the labor and even the time and cost and all of that involved in manually applying fertilizer or compost over the land. So how much quantity is each basin going to take? How much quantity of compost is it going to release on the particular site? So with regards to your question, the compost is already being prepared by the farmers. And then the problem is how they transport the compost ready throughout the farm. So what they do is, the compost, instead of preparing the compost at one site, they prepare it at various segments of the farm. So what they do is, once they get
the amount of compost that they want to apply to that particular segment depends on the amount that they will fetch into the wheelbarrow. And because the wheelbarrow is very large, they can fetch a lot from their container into the wheelbarrow, and then with the calibration, the size of the hooper under the wheelbarrow will actually determine the amount that is going per tree. So the wheelbarrow contains all of the compost, but then the hooper under the wheelbarrow is what contains the amount of the hooper becomes the calibrator. So the amount of compost that is allowed to be in the hooper is the amount of compost that will be given per tree. So once the lever is pulled and then the wheelbarrow, a mechanized door at the bottom of the wheelbarrow is open, the compost is transferred from the main wheelbarrow into the hooper. So when the lever is pulled and then the hooper is opened, and then the whole compost from the wheelbarrow doesn't go. It's only the compost in the hooper that goes to the tree. So the calibration depends on the size of the hooper.
Yes, so the idea is interesting, but I think what we can also do is to know how much quantity each basin, the actual figures, how much quantity in each basin is taking. With that, the farmer knows that if he is applying, say, 3,000 kg of compost on a particular piece of land, this is how much time he is going to take. And he analyzes that and he considers that feasible or not to him. You get that? So this is something we can improve on. And also, I don't know if you mentioned that, is it an equipment that can be attached to, say, a tractor to reduce the time and labor and all that? Because this is also labor. Pushing this around a 2-acre farm, I think is even more tedious than manually applying it. So can this be applied to a tractor to mechanize it in a certain way?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for the spreader carts, we have a single dose and a double dose. We have those with a single handle. Let's assume the example that he used, the wheelbarrow. We put one lever at one side and another lever at one side. One lever was set as a calibrator, where it will, enables the compost to be moved from the hopper, or that's the basin, from the hopper, that's our container, into the basin
for the application process to take place. And another one that will regulate as the opening and the close. So determine on the amount or the rate that we want to apply, we want to release the compost into the ground. That will determine how we will calibrate it. And as we just said, there is a means by which we can attach it into something in the form of a machinery, like the bicycle, which will be cost effective. For that one, there can be a wheel that can be used to this thing to reduce the labor intensity as well.
And then also with respect to your question, we decided on the wheelbarrow framework because we're considering the smallholder farms who do not have access to expensive equipment like the tractors and then the cars. So we chose the wheelbarrow framework to allow for those people to also be able to use this technology in making their farms produce much more better cocoa in the end. But then with what you are saying, we can attach the same spreader cart onto a machine like the tractor that you said, and for large-scale farmers. So we put scalability in our mind when we're doing this, making sure that what we come up with can be used across all scales of farming in the country. Thank you.
So I'm looking at the economic wise. How much nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium is released from your compost? Because as a farmer, I will be like, okay, I'm doing all this tedious job. Why don't I just go and buy synthesized fertilizer and then apply? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm looking at it from the economic aspect also. You are saying that you are going to use the compost from the husk of the pod, right? Yes. Now we know that, as you said, it carries also a lot of diseases. How are you going to bury it? Because I said that I'm seeing that you say you are going to bury it so that it will go beyond the reach of the roots, right? Now, economically, if the farmer says that, no, this is tedious, I can just go and buy fertilizer and then apply. How much nitrogen is in this compost? Phosphorus is in this compost that the farmer will opt for this method and not go for synthetic fertilizer?
I think I want to build them out on this one because they are much more concerned about the mechanism, that is the equipment that is spreading the compost on the land. They are not interested in the compost at all. So what they are doing is entirely different. They are just concentrated on the equipment that is going to spread the compost on the land, that is going to ease the labor of farmers. So as to the scientific mechanism of the compost, they are not doing that at all. So I doubt they can do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Group 3. You can have your seats. Group 4. Group 4, please come up stage. And then while they come up stage, I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Registrar of the University Relations Office. Please, let's clap for him.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Luther Nsiam, and from Group 4, and our company is Safisana Ghana, and we are presenting on the challenge title, Compost Application Technology. So we were given a problem statement, and from the problem statement, we derived the 4 core problems of compost application currently here by farmers in Ghana. So first of all, the transportation of compost is very difficult by the average farmer in Ghana, and it's also very like labor intensive. Also, the quantity and precise application of the compost is very hard to control, which leads to low soil fertility. So the current compost application challenges. The compost is usually carried manually, either in sacks, pans, or wheelbarrows, which I said earlier is very difficult, the transportation here. And the farmers apply the compost tree by tree, and different trees receive different amounts of the compost. They don't know the right amount of compost to give each type of tree or plant that they are. Yeah. And the compost is often placed too far from the roots, because they have the idea that when the compost is too close to the plant, because of the excess like nitrogen, it's going to bend the roots. But it doesn't have to be that much farther away from the plant, but just a close proximity. Okay, so we brought about 20 innovative ideas, and out of these 20 innovative ideas, we scaled them down to 3 prominent innovative ideas, which we thought would be of great help. So first of all is the one of the prominent innovative ideas is the compost pellets and the wireless spreader drone. So as you can see here, the compost pellet, the compost in the form of pellets were incorporated into the drone, and this helps very much in spreading the compost evenly throughout the like the field, right? So please go back. Yeah. So the compost, right, in the form of pellets, are in a much like higher nutrient concentration. What do you call it? Like with respect to the normal kind of compost. Okay, so we think that like the compost in the pellet form would be very very innovative for this, and also the compost application sensor with so the compost dose smart applicator with a GPS and navigator. Okay, so you see this sort of tractor here. Other countries do have. Okay, so basically the compost is being poured and transferred into the space into the tractor here. So whilst the farmer is transporting the tractor, there is a sensor underneath which calculates the right amount of compost to be delivered per that specific area. Yes. So, and the compost application sensor with a narrow orchard. And the next slide is not coming. Okay, so the compost dose applicator and the GPS navigator. So let's take this to be our farmer. Okay, our farmer has the compost. This is a sketch, right? The compost dose smart applicator, which is connected to the GPS satellite. So the farmer is able to know the exact tree to transfer the compost to, okay, and the right amount of those to give to that tree. In regards to say you have a cocoa farm, and you, with the help of the GPS, you know the arrangements of the trees. Okay, so you are able to give the right amount, that specific dose, without what do you call it, the compost dose multiplicator, that specific dose, and incorporate the compost into the cocoa trees. And the compost sensor with the narrow orchard tractor. Here, this sensor works by testing the soil moisture and the nutrients. So this will determine the right amount of compost to deliver to the trees or like the plants. Yes, thank you. So we believe that these ideas will be very useful, and we thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. Yeah, so I would like to ask the pelleted compost. At which stage are you going to use that pelleted compost?
We are going to use it at the young stage or the seasonal stage because that stage the drone can work efficiently for that time. But during the canopy stage, the narrow rack tractor will be passing under the cocoa tree.
Okay, with the pallet tray also, please go. We have this machine here. So we have this machine here which can be also used to distribute it. Or we also have the narrow orchard tractor. So we have something which can contain the pellets, can be mounted to the narrow tractor, so that as it is moving inside the cocoa farming, it will be distributing the pellets, yes, as a form of fertilizer. So the pellet is in the form of fertilizer, yes, which will be also convenient for the distribution, even the younger stage and also the mature stage.
So the two equipment that you have shown, which one is your best shot? So that I can ask question on it. The two equipment, which one is your best shot for the local farmers here? But from the presentation, he said there's none in Ghana. He said there's none in Ghana, so he said there's none of this machine in Ghana. So how?
So please, that is why we are here. Okay, so we are here to bring you the ideas so that you import it here, then you use it in Ghana. Yes.
Thank you very much again. So these are interesting ideas, but in as much as they are interesting, we have to be very realistic, especially with the compost, the second one, the GPS navigator, whatever. You know, our farmers, we do not track our trees by GPS or whatever. So I don't think there's a way our GPS device is going to be able to do all that kind of thing. Because we do not, even our houses, how many of them are even tracked by GPS, not to talk of our farms in the rural areas. So I think out of these ideas, what can work is the pellet drone one. And even with that one, you can do that on the land that you've not already planted your cocoa. So on the bare land, after land preparation, you know, compost can be applied right after land preparation so that the nutrients are retained in the soil even before you go to plant your seeds. So that is what we can look at and improve on or modify if need be, so that after land preparation, the drone or whatever just sprays the pellets or the compost. It can even, it should not even necessarily be in the form of pellets. It can be the normal compost, as we know, in that fine powder. Then the thing will just spray everything all over the land, distribute it uniformly, so that the land can be well like replenished with nutrients for planting. So that is why we can look at and then improve or modify. Thank you.
So that is why the second one will also come in. We say innovative ideas. So with the coming up of the GPS, it can also be used because we want to use technology, you know, in our farming. So the GPS can also help us in, you know, spreading our compost on our farms. So this is the future innovations that are coming up to help us in our cocoa farms.
Thank you very much, Group 4, for the presentation. Up next, Group 5.
with all protocols observed. Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team KNUST-TEK, and our mission here is very simple. We are here to rejuvenate the Ghana's cocoa industry by the combine of rehabilitation strategies and smart digital technologies in a sustainable cocoa production. Welcome to our presentation. To begin with, cocoa is the heartbeat of Ghana's economy. I know right now you're asking why, and the reason is globally, Ghana is the second leading producer of cocoa, with Cote d'Ivoire being the first. And also, cocoa has several benefits. It helps us in making profits, shapes us, and also as it helps in consuming. As we consumers get a lot from cocoa. Also, cocoa can be used in making other processed materials like cocoa powder, cocoa vinegar, cocoa wine, and etc. To continue, my team and I, Team KNUST-TEK, has proposed some solutions which would help with the stated problems I'm about to state now. Cocoa is severely affected by aging of the trees, aging of farmers, declining productivity, and widespread of diseases such as cocoa swollen shoots viral diseases. And as such, my group and I have proposed a solution to the above problems. We intend to cut diseased part of cocoa trees, replace dead trees with hybrid disease-resistant varieties. Also, we prune and cut bushy parts to allow sunlight and airflow, reducing blackboard. We also provide farms with a record book app to track inputs, yields, and income. We get rid of manual labor. Hence, we improve or introduce digital sensors and equipment which would help with a digital tracking and also improve the productivity of cocoa in Ghana. Moreover, we provide Internet of Things sensors like humidity sensors to the farmers to monitor climate change in the farms. And last of all, we provide farmers with IDs for easy tracking. Digital technologies for smart farm management. We hereby improve or provide digital tools. As I mentioned earlier, we ensure or we are here to rejuvenate the Ghana's cocoa industry or KNUST canal cocoa farms by the combination of rehabilitation strategies and smart digital technologies. So as such, my group and I have proposed some digital technologies for smart farm management. And we have GIS mapping, which means geographic information mapping. GIS mapping helps monitor the efficiency of the farm, the tree locations, and so on and so forth. Also, we help bring drones, IoT sensors, AI decision support, and mobile apps to help improve the productivity of cocoa production. to continue, my team and I also bring about rehabilitation strategies. And example of those rehabilitation strategies, we have replanting and so on. Because cocoa is a valuable crop, we must make sure we replant aged cocoa, because as it stands now, research has it that cocoas are aging a lot due to harsh weather conditions and management. So, as such, we imply the rehabilitation strategies, as you can see. And also, for the Cocoa Center of Excellence. Cocoa Center of Excellence, it simply means my group and I intend or propose a center for educative teaching, educative farmer teaching, and this one, peer-to-peer teaching, and so on and so forth. Well, I would like my fellow presenter to help us out.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you. We are out of time, so let's make it quick. So we are Team Rejuva-TEK. We are here to bridge the gap between technology and farm. So through the youth and also digitalization. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Group 5.
Please, your topic was what? Rehabilitation. Your topic. I want to see them. Cocoa rehab. Good. Seshuyoso. Have you heard it? Have you heard Seshuyoso? Yes. They used to produce a lot of cocoa. Right now, the cocoa are dying. So, with your rehabilitation plan, they have done rehabilitation, say it's not surviving. So, what in your plan do you think can help to rejuvenate that area? Because that area was producing Ghana almost 600 metric tons a year. Even the whole Ghana, that place was only producing 600. Now, even the whole Ghana, we are not able to produce 600. And that place used to be the hub of Ghana. With your rehabilitation program, what can you do to rejuvenate that area? Because they have done this several times, it's not surviving.
Thank you very much. So from our presentation, we were out of time, so we couldn't touch on much points. So we have the agroforestry, let me see, by intercropping the cocoa with timbers to also help support in terms of harsh weather conditions, which is also going to shade the cocoa. And also, we also bring up the idea of drafting. So we draft some of the cocoa seedlings with hybrid disease-resistant plants, which is also going to facilitate or improve upon the cocoa sowing shoot in any cocoa farm, and also as well as the drought tolerant, and also as well as with a longer peak period so that we can achieve high yields. Yeah, thank you very much.
Have you also talked about improving the soil? Because as I said, now the soil in that area is bad because of galamsey and other stuff. What in your rehabilitation program is going to improve the soil fertility?
Thank you. I'll borrow something small from the previous group, which is group 4. So we are also going to introduce smart technologies, which are also going to check for the fertility of the soil, detect whether this soil needs moisture, this soil is out of moisture, this soil is out of nutrients, this particular nutrients. Then we go hand in hand with those with the idea of compost tractor or the compost, this one they brought. Then we help bring or improve upon the soil state of the farm.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. So, like he mentioned, there have been many rehabilitation policies by the government. What I want to know is, let me give you a practical explanation of what the rehabilitation happens on the field. So they identify, say, a diseased cocoa farm. They go over there with chainsaw operators. These chainsaw operators for the trees, and then there are technicians or cocoa board workers on the farm. What they do is they apply chemicals to the stem to kill the diseases, and then they do something we call line and pegging, and then later on they clear the land and then they replant the cocoa. We've been doing this all the time, but we are still having these issues. So your rehabilitation, what is going to be different from them? Because we are looking at, you mentioned sensors, drones, and all that. At each stage of this rehabilitation process, that is cutting down the diseased trees, applying chemicals or whatever to kill the diseases, replanting and all that. At each stage of this rehabilitation process, what different thing or what innovative thing are you going to do to make sure we do not come back to this in about 2-3 years again, to the same piece of land to come and rehabilitate again?
So yeah, we can use hybrid varieties or cultivars such as the CCN 51 or the ICS 1, which have high resistance to diseases and they have longer peak periods compared to the standard varieties or cultivars.
I'll also add, it's the mentality of some of us who manages the farm. It has to be constant. We have to go there, check constantly of how the state of whatever we've done over there to know the issues and also find solutions to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this presentation. You said you provide Internet of Things, humidity sensors and all that to monitor climate change on the farm, right? And looking at our mostly rain-fed. So what is all these humidity sensors and things going to do on the farm? And even if we detect whether the humidity is high or low, what are we going to do about it, since it's rain-fed?
I believe we are all students and we learn about irrigation. So with that, if we detect that there is low humidity or high humidity in the system, we go about irrigate. We have to provide irrigation systems to also regulate the temperature in there and in the soil as well. And the adoption of drainage systems when there is excess rain, which is also going to disrupt the rooting zones of our cocoa plants. Thank you very much.
Is it really applicable? Like having about 10 acres, 20 acres of cocoa, a smallholder farmer, is it really applicable?
Thank you. That's why we are here to propose the idea to you and also seek support from the government and other business holders, partners to also help come in. So we start at a small scale, then we find a budget on how to implement that on a larger scale. Then we go in and import the necessary materials needed to help in the irrigation and also monitoring the humidity state of the farm. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 5. Oh, please appreciate them more.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we end, I will just add something small. When we hear of Cocoa Hackathon, it's about decoding and encoding about the sector. It's a very big sector, so we have to find problems in there, and it will be as an opportunity of making money and also solving the issues of the farmer. Thank you very much. So I have in my hands the local cocoa that we harvest in Ghana here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Group 5. Thank you. Okay, Group 6. Group 6, where are you? So, you have 5 minutes for the presentation. Who is presenting? You have 5 minutes.
So we are Group 6, and we are presenting on Smart Cocoa Rehabilitation and Centers of Excellence. Smart Cocoa Rehabilitation and Centers of Excellence. So our college, the College of Agric and Natural Resources, has or manages a farm which is located around the medical school village. And this farm is primarily used for the production of cocoa or cocoa farms. But these farms are aging or they have been abandoned. And so we are looking at the ways that these farms that are aging can be revitalized and have high productivity and high sustainability. So we would have an overview of rehabilitation of old cocoa fields and the essence or the importance of we doing this rehabilitation process. We also look at the impact of these abandoned cocoa farms if we don't do the rehabilitation or rejuvenation. We also discuss on practical methods or solutions or recommendations for addressing this issue. And also we'll discuss the setting up or the establishment of a cocoa center of excellence. So what is rehabilitation? So rehabilitation is the transformation of old, abandoned or semi-abandoned fields to improve productivity or to be more productive, to be more stable and commercial, and also to be more ecologically functional, or to bring it to an ecologically functional stage. So rehabilitation is the transformation of old or aging cocoa farms which have been abandoned or semi-abandoned to improve productivity, sustainability, stability, to be more commercial and to bring it to an ecological functional state. So what are the importance or the essence of we doing this rehabilitation process? If this rehabilitation process are not done, yields of the cocoa farm are going to be generally low, or we are going to have a generally low yield. And also the trees are going to be unmanageable. The aging trees, they have some ages that when they hit, they cannot produce anymore. And so we have to rehabilitate or revitalize these cocoa trees in order to manage them appropriately. And also, these aging cocoa trees or these old varieties of cocoa have no or low tolerance to diseases, and these diseases are witch broom and blackboard diseases. And also, in order to bring on board varieties of cocoa seedlings that are of high resistance to climate disorders, and also to diseases, as mentioned earlier. So who is affected? When we don't do this rehabilitation process, who is affected? The college, or the KNUST-TEK College of Agric is affected. And if the college is affected, it's also going to affect students. It's also going to affect students and research activities, and eventually affect farmers. Extension officers are also going to be affected. If farmers are affected, that means extension officers are also going to be affected. And it's also going to affect Ghana's cocoa industry at large. So how can we, through an innovative technology enabled approach, transform KNUST's aging cocoa farms for a sustainable and productive cocoa production? So we have some 5 approaches that we are going to use. And the first approach that we are going to use is to rejuvenate trees by effective pruning and fertilization. The first approach that we are going to use to rejuvenate or to revitalize these trees is to conduct an effective pruning process and fertilization process. So the aging cocoa trees or the cocoa farm that has been left abandoned have vines and other climbing plants and dead or diseased branches. So we have to take them all off in order to have a good space for air aeration, or for aeration, for air circulation, and for light penetration. And we are also going to apply targeted fertilizers depending on the needs of the soil. So most of these aging cocoa farms have their soil nutrients being depleted. And so for us to revitalize the cocoa farms or the cocoa trees, we would have to tackle the soil, providing the targeted nutrients depending on what the soil needs. And also depending on the climate or the weather condition. During dry seasons, it's not advisable to use fertilizers that would need water in order to dissociate, to be utilized by the plant. It is advisable to use the foliar fertilizers. And also, regenerative soil and biochar integration. So for the old or the aging cocoa farms, instead of allowing the discarded cocoa pods or the organic waste rot, which will attract fungal diseases and eventually destroy the cocoa trees, we would, through technology, enable the conversion of this waste and these cocoa pods that are not useful into biochar. And this will improve biochar. What biochar does is it improves soil moisture retention and also nutrient availability. And additionally, we are going to adopt the use of sensor-based fertilization. So this sensor-based fertilization is going to provide data-driven insights into how much water is going to be needed and how much fertilizer is going to be needed for maximizing input and also reducing inputs. Okay, so we are going to talk about the establishment of the Cocoa Center of Excellence and how important this establishment is going to have, or the impact is going to have when they are being established.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about the establishment of Cocoa Center of Excellency. Sorry, Cocoa Center of Excellency. Yes, setting up a Cocoa Center of Excellency is critical for ensuring long, sustainable cocoa production. Yes. And here are the importance, or what is going to provide when we establish something like that. Advanced agricultural research and development. This acts as a management unit or a local ground for the farmers and potential agricultural farmers to study. Here we have, please move on. Yeah, so we talk about capacity building and farmer training. Here, it provides hands-on training, facility, demonstration farms, and classrooms to educate local farmers on agricultural practices. Some of the agricultural practices we use in the olden days are archaic. Some of them affect the cultural practices, like they don't really boost the yield. And here, it's going to give us the hands-on skills for us to help farmers and potential farmers to increase in high yielding cocoa, disease resistance, and also produce a standard, a high standard that will meet the cocoa marketing board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, judges.
I'm not being biased, but I think this is one of the best presentations that I've seen this afternoon. Because we touch on everything that I myself, I have practiced in rejuvenating the cocoa, the old and then existing cocoa field. So from my early days, I started in Enchi. I hope you know that. You don't know? Oh, that is a hub of cocoa. So Enchi, when we went there, there were a lot of old cocoa farmers. But from everything that we did is everything that you have touched on. And it's really worked. And indeed, when we were leaving, we saw an improvement in all the old cocoa field that we tried to rejuvenate. So I have nothing to say. I'll just say kudos. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. So, you said we are going to set up a center of excellence. I'd like to know where and how, where. Because most of the regions are into cocoa farming. So where are we going to have the center of excellence, which will also help the youth not to travel far, so that they will get the needed knowledge to be able to go into cocoa production.
Thank you. Establishing the Center of Excellency doesn't really mean it has to be a stationary one. It may not be a stationary one. It can be with the students who knows what is going on, or a personnel who is skilled enough to teach the farmers what to do. They can go to the farm, cocoa producing villages, towns. Yes, they can go there and teach them, just as how the extension workers and officers do. We as students too can do something like that. From the knowledge we obtain from class, laboratories, and practices that our lecturers teach us here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 6. You may have your seats. Group 7, please come up stage.
Good afternoon. We are Group 7, and I am Mensa Obedabe. I'm presenting on their behalf. Okay, so our challenge is to tackle Case 4, and our problem that we are tackling lies in the heart of the cocoa industry. And we have divided this problem into 3 major groups. First has got to do with the waste crisis. Ghana generates over 2 million tons of cocoa husk every year, and this one is left in the open to rot, which contributes to the generation of greenhouse gases, and also it harbors the cocoa black pod disease pathogen, which is Phytophthora megachaya. Now, our solution to this is to create an organomineral substance that will help to improve this particular situation by co-composting cocoa husk and biochar with poultry manure or poultry waste, which is also a major problem so far as the animal sector is also concerned. Now, the biochar acts as a sponge to hold the nutrients that the poultry manure has, and then releases them just in time for them to for plant roots to tap them when it is needed. Now, it protects plant roots and cuts nitrogen loss compared to raw manure that is applied standalone. The decision is not that we are trying to replace totally conventional NPK, but rather we are providing a material that will help farmlands that have lost their fertility over time due to continuous planting by providing organic matter and then also the biochar, which will help to retain moisture and help to maintain the structure of the soil that is being cropped over time. So applying this material that we are going to make doesn't mean that the farmer is not going to apply conventional fertilizer, but rather it's going to cut the cost of the fertilizer that he's going to purchase and help the soil to gain long-lasting impact as the application is being done. Now, for the process of making it, first is the pyrolysis of the husk at the various LBCs, such that we don't want to transport the pathogen from the farms to the central station where the product is going to be made. So during the pyrolysis, the husk is going to be burnt at temperature around 400 degrees Celsius, and that one is going to eliminate the phytophthora pathogen from the husk. So we have now turned a biosecurity threat into a biosecure solution. Now we go ahead to crush the biochar into powder to create a greater surface area for it to bind very well with the manure when it is being mixed. Then the manure is being blended with it and then co-composted thermophilically for 2 to 4 weeks. The next stage is to dry and then package the product. Now, our market strategy is positioned such that we don't target only local farmers, but rather we go in and then partner with businesses that are into export of their goods and then goes directly or strictly with the EU's deforestation regulations, such that when they apply these materials, it is very obvious that they are not tapping artificial or let me say synthetic minerals from elsewhere, but rather we are utilizing the waste that has been produced as a result of the cocoa production into a soil amendment that will help in the long term. The next one is also target vegetable farmers and local cocoa producers to also use these ones. Now, our spoke and then hub model helps to connect the transition or the supply chain from the farm to the LBCs and then to the central facility where the product is going to be finished. To collect these ones and then also improve farmer engagement, every farmer that produces more than 1 ton of the wet husk is going to get a subsidized price of 50% discount on each 50 kilogram bag of the material, the soil amendment material that is being purchased. Okay, so the fertilizer is now going to act as a buffer and then bridge the gap between the synthetic one that is going to be supplied just in time and then which may volatilize, and then rather giving it time for the nutrient to stay in the soil and then retain moisture over time. It also doesn't provide just the major nutrients, but also comes along with other micronutrients that are very relevant to plant growth. All right. Now, with respect to international regulations, this production, as being explained, also goes directly to impact the SDGs 12, 13, and then 15, which states consumption, responsible consumption, climate action, and then also life on land. This our product particularly helps to drive to these 3 SDGs. That doesn't make our solution only a locally based one, but an internationally relevant solution that will help the cocoa industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, do you have any questions for them?
We have a lot of questions. I'm really interested in this topic because when I was in cocoa field, I asked myself, what can we do with this husk that is always on the field and the farmers don't make use of it? So I just want you to go back to how you are going to use this husk. How are you going to transport it? Because you said it also contains some diseases. Are you going to burn? You are going to subject it to some heat. Are you going to subject that heat at the farm? Where? How is it going to do? Do you have any simple machine that you have created that we can use to turn it into the fertilizer that you are talking about?
So thank you. Upon reviewing our problem that was assigned to us, it was such that a company called Spark Solutions is actually established elsewhere and not in Ghana, and then it produces this biochar through a process called pyrolysis, and then they use a kiln. The pyrolysis is such that they burn the husk in a controlled oxygen environment that will prevent the husk from being burnt into ashes. So rather, it helps to capture the carbon content of the husk down, and hence it will sequester carbon in the long run. So after producing this one, the burning is going to occur at the LBC. Now the LBC is where the farmers bring their seeds for sale. So when they are coming along, they come along with their cocoa husk that they have on their farms, and then the burning is going to take place at a station near the LBC. Now the reason being that when we are going to transport the husk directly from the farm to the main facility where the finishing is going to take place, it will help. It is going to transit the pathogen from the farms to these stations. Now, subjecting these cocoa husks to heat over here will help to do away with the pathogen transit from one place to another, and hence this biosecure threat has now been fixed. Then again, this one is going to help with has got to do with the bulkiness, because a wet husk contains about 80 to 85% moisture. That makes it very heavy for transport. And then again, how heavy it is going to be will go ahead to affect the cost of fuel, and then the number of trucks that you are going to need to transport all this one from a farm station to the main facility. So burning it will also make it to reduce the moisture content or reduce the bulkiness, and then for easy transportation of the house from the farm to the main facility where the finishing is going to take place.
So I like it. It's like we are speaking from literature, because I wanted to see if there's a machine that we can develop, any small one. But as you said, some is not in Ghana, so we are still back to literature, that we can turn it into fertilizer, but we don't still have the equipment, right?
There is actually a machine that helps with the pyrolysis, and that machine, this Spark circular solution, they have it. So it's not, let me say, a book talk. So it actually occurs on land. But what the problem was trying to put to us was that a way that we can help this particular company that produces the biochar to gain market in Ghana and even on the international market. So the pyrolysis machine is there, and they refer to it as a kiln, so KILN. So that's the machine that they use for the pyrolysis, and it's a controlled environment that will prevent the husk from burning into ashes. So the machine is actually there, and not a book talk. Thank you.
Yes, I just want to commend you for the presentation. I actually liked it. It's fluid, direct, and very pinpoint. So to what he mentioned, yes, there's a pyrolysis machine. I mean, there are some of them even in Ghana. We can also construct locally made ones. It's just finding the right materials and metals and directing it to aggressive heat, so that the husk can burn under controlled conditions like he mentioned. So I just want to commend you for your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 7, for the presentation. Group 8.
Group 8.
Okay, so group 8 is not available, so group 9. Okay, group 9, so you have 5 minutes for the presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer, and this is our case study. So we are looking to bridge the gap between the industry and academia through youth-led innovations and entrepreneurship in cocoa. And our challenge title is the climate resilience in cocoa farming. So I have a question. Have you ever wondered how a farmer and their families is supposed to survive after losing up to 60% of their produce every season? Yvonne's grandmother is a cocoa farmer in the Ashanti region. And she's a very hardworking farmer, does everything that she has to do. But this is the problem she encounters. And this is not just Yvonne's grandmother, but about 800,000 smallholder cocoa farmers in Ghana. And across West Africa, about 5 million cocoa farmers. Due to climate changes. So there are times where there's too little water, that is rainfall, and too much water. When there's too little water, there are longer dry seasons that reduce cocoa yield. And when there's too much water, there's heavy rainfall that causes waterlogging and black pot disease. But the way we thought about it, this water during the rainy season shouldn't go to waste. So this is our solution. The cocoa has smart drainage and water recovery system. So we want to inculcate the cocoa husk. So how this is going to be implemented is the cocoa husk is going to be spread on the surface of their farms. The cocoa husk, from our research, has a high moisture retainment. It also serves as filter and then also slow the flow during the heavy rainfall and protect the soil from soil erosion. Then our drainage system is there to convey the excess water that will flow through the cocoa husk into the drainage system that will then go directly to the reservoir. This is very useful because it is low cost, it is low in tech, and is built from materials already on the farm. We are working with smallholder farmers. And from our research, they do not have enough resources to go for these high-tech solutions. So instead of letting their cocoa husks go to waste, how they can actually utilize this on their farms. This system works because it has circular water management. It solves the problem of flooding, water waste, dry season, and then we are utilizing the cocoa husk waste, which are reused as natural filters. That way, our solution, one rainfall, two benefits: flood control and water storage. This business sector is very impactful because it protects the farmers' income and Ghana's cocoa outputs as rainfall becomes more erratic. They're going to benefit because they're going to conserve the rainwater and reduce soil erosion. They are able to repurpose their cocoa husk that would otherwise go to waste, and this ensures higher yields, fewer losses, and better farm incomes. If further developed, we envision to pilot this through cocoa board, farmer cooperatives, and demonstrative farms, protecting thousands of smallholder households nationwide. So our vision as a business is to help every smallholder cocoa farmer in Ghana to transform excess rainfall into a reliable water source for sustainable cocoa production. We can all help Yvonne's grandmother together. So don't let the rainfall become runoff. don't let the rain become runoff. Let it become tomorrow's irrigation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice presentation. Good work. I have one or two questions. One, with what you are saying that we are going to spread the cocoa husk on the field, group 3 and 4 we also see that it contains a lot of diseases which the plant will take it back. Because that is what they are saying, and that is the truth, because the cocoa husk also harbors a lot of diseases, right? So now spreading it on the field, are we not going to invite the diseases back into the cocoa? And also the second one is, we already have the leaves that has fallen massively under the cocoa. Why would the farmer also say that, okay, I'm going to spread the cocoa husk again on the leaves?
Thank you very much. Okay, so with the occurrence of the disease, there are various ways and means to treat this cocoa husk in a way to eliminate, if not all, most of the pathogens that will be transmitting the diseases to affect the cocoa. In a way in a way to involve small holders, you can go by treating this cocoa husk with hot water. This hot water would minimize, or it will make conditions not favorable for these pathogens, and then you can further go ahead to properly dry them. This will make sure that most, or if not all, of the pathogens are removed. The remaining ones will be not that much effective to affect the cocoa at large. And then you can further improve it to, if you are limiting it to a large-scale farm, you can go ahead to process it as Group 7 stated. You can compose them, but to make it in a way affordable for all, in a way not to exclude these smallholder farmers, because they also contribute to the whole cocoa industry. You can use treatment options like using the hot water, which I believe everybody can do, and then also properly drying them. And with the question with the leaves, relatively looking at the leaf, the cocoa leaf, and then the cocoa husk, I believe that the cocoa husk has quite a higher potential to retain water or prevent water loss or evaporation in an instance whereby there's less rainfall compared to the leaf. Yes, that's what I think.
All right. Thank you for the presentation. That was a good one. So we'd like to know, let's be clear here, are we going to use the fresh husk or the dried husk? The dried husk, not the fresh. And are we going to get the volumes to spread across all the farms in Ghana?
Thank you very much for your question. And so we are looking at it from various angles. In an angle whereby this cocoa is already affected, meaning the pathogens are systemic, they are inside, so you need to get rid of them. And you using the dry cocoa husk doesn't necessarily affect the volume that will be retained. And then also with the availability of the cocoa husk, I believe on every farm, they are literally growing the cocoa over there. So taking the pods which are commercially processed, the husks are usually treated as waste. So I think every cocoa farm should be able to produce a husk that would sort of cater for their own needs. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 9, for your presentation. So can we have Group 10 upstage? Group 10.
Good afternoon, everyone present. We are Team Farms of the Future. I am Grace, and I'm here with my other teammates, Ruben, Emmanuel, Jemfi, Joycelyn, and Samson. We are to present on climate resilience of cocoa farm, and we are delighted to present our presentation. I would like to hand over to my colleague, Joycelyn.
Thank you once again for the opportunity. So as we all know that when it comes to agriculture, it's mainly depend on, like one of the factors that it mainly depends on is climate, which affects soil fertility, water requirements by soil and other things. So climate, as we all know, it's not like as compared to at first, where it was reliable. I mean, farmers can determine when to plant, when to irrigate, when to harvest and all that. But these days, it's not like as compared. So climate has changed and now it is unreliable to both farmers and other entities in the value chain. So with regards to cocoa needs maximum water in its production. I mean, from the beginning, planting to the harvesting stage. So cocoa needs water to ensure that its production is well, got a gain. So this brings us to our topic, climate resilience on cocoa farming. Climate resilience, the problems that we've found out and we are yet to bring our solutions on. So some of the problems are climate change, water challenges, impacts, and the gap. So the climate change, as I said earlier, it has resulted in erratic rainfall, which is unreliable. The unreliance on the climate, longer dry seasons. Longer dry seasons affect cocoa production in the sense that when there is no rainfall or when a farmer is expecting a rain to plant 8 seeds or something and there is no rain, it's going to cause water stress to the plant. Rising temperature, as cocoa needs maximum water for its production. If there is no adequate water for its production and there is rising temperature, same water stress is going to happen. And there is going to be shrink in the beans or the quality of the seed or the cocoa as a whole is going to reduce. Water challenges, most cocoa farmers depend on rainfall, especially in Ghana. Most of our local farmers depend on rainfall for their production. Unlike other countries or commercial people who use substitute form of irrigation for their production. Rainwater is lost as runoff. As there are, let's say if there are much water and the soil, if there is a heavy rainfall and the soil is a sandy soil or something that cannot retain much water, there's going to be a runoff. Or as scientists have proven that we cannot do away with erosion. Regardless of whatever happens, erosion would take place. So water runoff is also a form of erosion that can also take place. Clean water for irrigation is limited in some areas. As you all know, the use of clean water is not as available as in our country due to some of the activities such as galamsey. And the impact, water stress reduces crop cocoa yield. If there is no much water for the plant to retain, there is not going to be proper yield in the cocoa. Reduces cocoa quality. Like I said earlier, the quality of the cocoa is going to decrease. The yield is going to be decreased, and the beans may not be that effective. Or let's say if you're a local farmer, then you need the seed to replant. You're not going to get the good seed for you to use. Lower farmer income, as it affects it from the planting stage, the harvesting is going to affect it. And finally, the market is going to be affected as well. The affordable water management solution for smallholder are lacking. Yes, the smallholder farmers, unlike the commercial or the large-scale farmers, there is a big gap because these farmers, most of them rely on rainfall, the natural rainfall, and most of them don't conserve water or harvest such waters in season where rainfall is heavy. So there is a big gap between that. scalable and sustainable solutions are limited. Like I said earlier on, these farmers or these farmers, the ability for them to scale is very limited because some of them are still using the old methods that they are using. Who is affected? Farming household, cocoa buying companies, chocolate manufacturers, Ghana's cocoa industry. So farming household, as we all know, as a farmer, you have to have self-sufficiency before you can. The first goal of every farmer is to be able to consume some as well. So you have to be you have to be sufficiently be able to utilize some of your products. Then if you can sell, then you sell. So if it happens that way, the household is going to be affected. Cocoa buying companies are going to affect it, and so therefore, Ghana's cocoa industry is going to be affected as well. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to our next presenter to present on our solutions.
Thank you. So with our solution, we don't come with a very expensive in our systems in Ghana. Our second solution will be the use of organic fertilizers. This fertilizer was used in my farm this year. And if you have to go and see the farms yourselves, the result shows if anybody has used this kind of fertilizer here, the person will bear witness. The organic fertilizers are just too much. The third will be agroforest. It is being experienced by farms of the future through ECG and the Asase Foundation. This is also helping to conserve water. We could also use contour ditches to slow down runoffs from the farm so that we don't lose the whole water when it rains. And also, with the rainwater collection, we don't need to use expensive systems to collect the water. We could use tarpaulin. The moment you go outside, you will see some on sale. These are inexpensive solutions. We could use barrels, which we typically call anchor. It is not very expensive. And with our water distribution, if the farm is hilly, we wouldn't even have to use a pumping machine. We will go with gravity flow. If we have a low-lying farm and a very commercial farm, we could go with bigger tanks and a solar panel to make the water system very efficient. And also, with places affected with galamsey that do not have clean rivers, I can assure you that if you are to move from this place to my village, Tabakromine in my east, there's no single clean river. You won't find a single one. So the farms that have access to clean rivers could use a pumping machine. I think this thing is covering our pumping machine a little bit. During the rainy season and when the small streams are full, it could be pumped into the reservoirs to conserve the water to be used during the dry season. Let's go to the previous page. The previous one. Okay, we came with two systems. We are using two strategic systems. Capturing only the water will not help. We will need to preserve the soil as well. So we talked of mulching, which would be in the forms of our normal cocoa aboye. You notice if you go to a typical cocoa farm, they have places called cocoa aboye. When they gather the cocoa, the dehusking is usually done at one place. And what happens over time is that the cocoa trees over there die because there's concentration of nutrients and the plants over there cannot bear it. So what we are proposing is, instead of the farmer just doing his aboye at one place over and over and over and again, if they gather the cocoa here this time, the next time they could move to another place and move to another place. That will improve the soil in the farm. The agroforestry will also help. And then vegetative barriers. If it rains very, very heavy, it creates contours in the cocoa farms. We get ditches in the cocoa farms. This could be helped by using vegetative barriers. Example, banana. There's a type of banana that I have personally practiced with. You plant it in the ditches, it grows, and it spreads in the contours, and that prevents the water from doing a further damage to the farms. So, move to our impact. Our impact. Our value. So, with our systems, we are not hoping to go with one. We are hoping to go with two systems because if you just capture the water without preserving the soil, what happens when you irrigate? The water will just fly away. Also, we will be using affordable materials because our materials don't have to be expensive. They don't have to come from anywhere. They can be fabricated right in Ghana, and it's being done. Also, it is sustainable. We conserve water, we reduce erosion, we improve the soil health, and this will also improve long-term productivity. It is scalable. This can be adapted to suit each farmer in Ghana. We come to your farm and we analyze your farm and we see how big your needs, then we see how much of the system you need on your farm. Go to the last one, the last slide. So we will be able to get a reliable a reliable water supply on the farm. The farmers would have water throughout the year. When this happens, there will be no, you see we have two seasons again, the main crop and the light crop, which is just ended. In the main crop, you could get as much as 40 bags on, let's say, a 10-acre farm. In the dry crop, I promise you that you will suffer to get 10, even 4, you won't get. If we are able to implement this system, we will be able to do away with that one. Also, we will be helping the farmers to deal with the climate, the droughts, the erratic rainfall, and the rising temperatures. We will take care of them. It is sustainable as well, and it will improve our food and the economic security of the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 10, for your presentation. Judges.
Thank you very much. I think when it comes to communication, you score 10/10. That is good communication. So, climate resilience, nice topic. I was looking forward to a lot. I see all of you are talking about the rain. Everything is all about the rain. But if you look at the climate resilience that we are talking about, we also have wind. Wind can also set in. What happens to that? When we are also in the dry season, what also happens to that? When there's also the seed that you are using, is it agriculturally smart? Is it smart, climate smart seeds that you are also using? I was also looking forward to all those things. But with what you have done, I think it's okay.
That was a good presentation. But you were talking about all the rivers in Ghana are not clean. So I'm wondering where we don't have the clean rivers, where are we going to get this water to irrigate our crops? And looking at how Galamsey is tormenting us, the heavy metals in our water bodies, and we using this unsafe water for irrigation. How are we going to achieve this?
That is just about the size of, less than the size of what we are standing on here. Structures like this could be constructed on the farms. No matter how big the farm is, it could be distributed across the farms alongside of tanks. It depends on the budget of the farmer. Also, with this size of platform on the farm, it can collect about, let's say 100, just with this size of roof could fill about 10 of this during the rainy season to be used during the dry season without the need to rely on the Galamsey rivers. Also, I did say that if the farmer has a clean, not all the rivers are destroyed, some are clean. If the farmer is clean to is close to a clean river, you could pump it and use that as well.
So that means with the rainwater storage drums, there's going to be pipes laid to irrigate the field, right? Okay. Then that's going to be very capital intensive. When we have the large acreages to deal with, it's going to be very capital intensive. Yeah, and I like the gravity flow irrigation. I think it's going to really help for the farms on the hills and mountains. It's really going to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 10. You can have your seats now. Oh, please, let's clap for them. Let's clap for all our groups. I mean, our participants have demonstrated remarkable creativity, teamwork, and innovative thinking in addressing challenges with regards to Ghana's cocoa sector. So, regardless of the outcome, each team has contributed valuable ideas that has made today's hackathon a success. So, for the time being, our judges will come together and put the scores together. So let's give them. So we will give them a few minutes to come up with the scores. Thank you very much. So one person presents the score.
Alone is doing a quarter of that. Do you want to clap for us? Every year, we are graduating over 25,000 students. It means that if the statistics are saying that our absorption rate or student absorption rate into the workforce is only 10% according to ESA, then it means we have a lot of students or graduates who will be home for a long time. More than 90,000 graduates. And we have in the past had what we call Graduate Student Association, who are not working, right? Who haven't got a job. So Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, we decided that we have to change the status quo. That is why we have incorporated entrepreneurship at all levels, in all subjects across the university. The way to go is also artificial intelligence. And so we have also enrolled artificial intelligence programs online for all students within this university. This is to make sure that you are not only backing or getting a degree, but also using AI to create jobs for yourself. Today, if you go to the market, ginger, for those of you who have been going to the market, ginger, a small quantity of ginger today is going for 100 cedis. Onion, don't go there. Tomato, don't go there. Why? Because we have a huge land, arable land. Why are we having deficiency in producing crops of this nature all year round? There's the need for us to do a rethinking. And so I want to urge all students in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, when you graduate, don't go and do your national service at Parliament House. You have nothing to plant there. Don't go and do your national service in the banks. You have nothing to grow there. Don't go and do your national service in the insurance companies and other. Look out for the farms, the big commercial farms, or find a way of doing something more productive to support our food sufficiency within the country. Again, I want to urge you to take opportunity of the artificial intelligence program that we are running. It's for free. It's free to all of you. So if you go to the multipurpose lab, how many of you know the multipurpose lab? Where you've been studying? There's an office there. You can just go there and enroll in AI courses, run the courses, and know how to incorporate AI skills into your programs, the various fields that you are studying. Some time ago, we had some students from not this university who went to the US Embassy for a visa. And they were nursing and midwifery students. They were attending an entrepreneurship conference in the United States. And then they asked them, what has nursing got to do with entrepreneurship? Then the students said, we don't know. They asked us to go and apply and attend the conference. I don't blame those students. It is the institutions that have failed. We have failed to actually incorporate that entrepreneurship sense into the student. This is why today's program is very laudable. And I want to commend Dr. Eligave and then the whole College of Agriculture and Natural Resources for this. Please clap for them. We want to see more of these exercises, which actually strengthened those entrepreneurial spirits in our students. I want to see these beautiful ideas today, which have been trying out here, incorporated in our farms, because the Ghanaian farming population is aged. They are old, they are using obsolete equipment in our farming practices. You coming on board should be able to bridge that gap so that you bring in innovation or innovative ideas to make sure that farming becomes more attractive. Many people previously used to think that farming is a dirty job. Today, if I tell you the amount of money people are making from catfish farming, how do you call it? This one. The Kobe that they have now packaged and calling it what? Tilapia. If you go to the restaurant today, look, you are going to buy one tilapia for about 100 cedis. Assuming you have 2,000 pieces of tilapia, I'm sure you can buy a Toyota Corolla, or you can live a better life. I want to urge all of you to begin to look at agriculture, farming, as a very lucrative opportunity for you to engage in. I don't want you to complete this university. In fact, the Vice Chancellor says, I should tell you, not to complete this university and go and join the Unemployed Graduate Association, or to pick your bag and say you are leaving the country to South Africa, where they will carry cutlass and chase you back to Ghana. So please, look at agriculture. It's a very lucrative business. I have a small farm in the eastern region. It's about 10 acres of palm plantation. If I tell you the amount of money I make, it's more than my salary every month. Because every 2 weeks, you know, for palm, every 2 weeks we harvest. For those of you who are into farming, you know, every 2 weeks we harvest. And if we harvest and I have a big truck load of palm fruits, and I take it to the place where they are selling it. For those of you who know KD, you know the GOPDC. I tell you, the money I make every month from my small farm is more than my salary. Why don't you join me? Let us farm. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I want to thank all the donors, all the supporters, partners who have supported this program. Naomi, we thank you so much. Convey our gratitude to the embassy and the ambassador. Orange Corners, Van Hall, the Lariston, Farm of the Future, Safisana, Spark, and so on and so forth. We thank all of them for this support. And Naomi, please, more of this. Continue to support us so that we can drive home that entrepreneurship spirit in our students, so that from here, we want to see commercial farmers. We want to see students, various groups, those groups who came to do the presentation. I don't want you to stop here. Don't let the group disintegrate after this place. Build up partnership and then put up websites, social media handles, and do a lot of consultation, source for funding, and develop these innovative ideas that you have channeled. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, the management of the university, I thank all of you for coming, and may God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Norris. displayed on our screen. Kindly scan, and then it's an evaluation form, and then fill it for us, please. Okay, so our judges are done with the compilation. So I'll call on Madam Lena Edujemfi to come and give us the results. Please, let's clap for her.
Hello. Hello. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, students. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon to be part of this program. And I must say, it was very competitive. So let's give a hand of applause to all our participants. They have really done well. They brought out very innovative ideas that would help us in transforming our cocoa sector to where we want it to be. Since cocoa supports the Ghanaian economy so much, and being competitive, the judges also had a very tough time to come out with the results. And we must say, it was very close, since most of the ideas resonated with the challenges that we have on the field and the solutions we are anticipating to help us in solving those challenges. So they have all really done well. A hand of applause to them again. So after more deliberation, I would like to announce which group is taking the first position. Which group? Group 8 or group 6? Group 7 or group 1? Group 3 or group 4? Yes, so the third position goes to group 4. So they had the third position. Looking out there, innovative ideas that they brought to be able to help us in our composting and the technologies to use on our farm. They had the third position. The second position goes to Group 7. In fact, they also delve into the waste that we generate on the farm and how we can transform them into usable products to help us in our climate change efforts and mitigation and adaptation measures. And now the ultimate award for this hackathon, this Green Week celebration, the hackathon, helping us in solving challenges on our cocoa farm. The first position goes to Group 6. So a round of applause to them once again. So we delve more into the technologies that is going to help us. Not just the presentation, because some of you, we are all witnesses to how some of the participants, presented. But we were looking more at the innovation, how these innovations are going to help us in solving the many challenges that we face in the cocoa sector. So that went into the decision in choosing the overall winner. Congratulations to the winner or the winners, and then better luck next time to all the other participating teams. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam. I'll call on the other judges to help us with the presentation of awards for the third position. So Group 4, please come up stage. The third position, Group 4. Yeah, bring in. Thank you very much, Group 4. Group 7, please come up stage for winning the second position. Group 7. Please, let's clap for them. Thank you very much, judges. Please, you can have your seats now. And then to the ultimate award, we will call on Group 6 to come up stage. And also to help us present this award, Dr. Daniel Norris from the Investor Relations Office will help in presenting 3 of the laptops to the participants. Thank you very much, Dr. Norris. I'll now call on Ms. Naomi Tunstra to do the rest of the presentation. Please, let's clap for her. Congratulations to all our award recipients and to every participant who made today's hackathon a success. Please, all participants be informed that from tomorrow onwards, you can go to Dr. Ellie's office, patient signed by our provost and also the provost of Van Hall Larenstein University. So take note of that. We also extend our sincere appreciation to our judges, mentors, partners, sponsors, and organizers for their invaluable contributions. This has bring us to the end of the program, but before we leave, I'll call on Mr. Christopher Dedeka to come and give us the vote of thanks. Mr. Christopher, please join me on stage. Is Mr. Christopher around? Okay, so can we get any volunteer from our executives to come and give us the vote of thanks? Any volunteer?
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm very much grateful to be here, and I think so as you all. So, on behalf of Christopher Dedeka, I would like to appreciate the boards who were able to make this program a success. We say a very much big thank you to you all, and we'd like to see more of this as such in the upcoming years or in the following coming years. We want to see much of this program. Innovative programs that is going to help with the student body to also have intensive knowledge, to also help the country grow as one. We say a very much big thank you to everyone who made this program a very successful one. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. And I'll also call on Miss Grace to come and give us the closing prayer.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon to you all. Please let's be in the mood of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you, O Lord, for a successful day like this. We bless your name for bringing us from morning up till now. We thank you for even all the innovative ideas, O God, and experience we've had. We pray that we live here, we are not leaving everything behind. We ask that you give us the strength, you give us more understanding and more knowledge, even to make Ghana's agriculture better and to extend it to the world. We ask that as we go, give us safe journey, and let your name be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much for that powerful prayer. And before we leave, as we were promised, I've been informed that our snack and lunch are ready outside the auditorium. So once we are leaving, and we've been given some cheats, so you'll be required to show that and be given your food. And aside that as well, we'll be having some group photographs, and our photographer will direct us on where we'll take the picture. Okay, so we will do that outside. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.